The purpose of today's webinar is to introduce you to the three teams that we have here. We've got our veteran women in step who have been around destroying the competition for as far back as anyone can remember in total fundraising. They have the reputation of not only being a powerhouse for supporting the conservation cause each year, but the dubious distinction of being the only all-female international team competing in the Champions of the Flyway bird race for conservation that's held in the Negev desert region of Israel. We've got a couple other upstart new teams, brand new to the race. We've got Chris Bell here, the co-host of the Birder Show, representing the Birder Show team today. Diego unfortunately could not make it, but Chris will carry the ball quite well for team. They are going to be the first team from outside of North America, I guess, Central America and South America technically, to compete in the race this year. And then the rest of us.
Our videographer Julian, who is representing Colombia.
Julian with us as well.
Yeah, our secret weapon.
Nice.
Hey guys, how are you
Secret
doing?
weapon. There he is. It's the hair. It's the curls that do it. It's a superpower. Yeah. How you doing, Julian? Welcome.
Thanks.
And then the rest of us will be from Team Kowa Scopers. We are a team of Kowa wielding manic digiscopers. We're going to be the first team to do a photographic style race where we're going to digiscope only all of our birds. So yeah, it'll be unique and fun. We're hoping this could become a new
challenge. It's going to be a great challenge for you guys, right? It's going to be.
Oh, yeah. The good news is though, we don't have to get up early necessarily. You know,
Or stay out late.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, it's dark. We're done. All right, we get to sleep in. We'll be all bushy-tailed and bright-eyed, meeting you guys with a beer at the finish line if we stay awake that long. But you know, otherwise, it'll be good. Also joining us today, we've got Jonathan Merev, who is one of the original founders and you know the kind of the face of the race, if you will. And Jonathan, if you're available, could you give us a rundown? We'll start this off, kind of an introduction of what the race is quickly, you know, a little bit about the playing field, etc.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to see everyone on the screen here and excited to seeing you all in person pretty soon. So yeah, Champions of the Flyway is a bird race for conservation. For many years, we looked at ways how to combine the sport, if you may, of bird racing and use that dynamic, sporty approach and channel it towards conservation measures. And it took a few years of evolution, but we managed to pull it off. Basically, teams of birders from around the world sign up for the race and all raise money towards one collective cause. This specific conservation cause is picked by a committee every year together with BirdLife International. BirdLife International are the conservation organization partners in the race. And together we choose a specific cause every year, with the cause always being around protecting the flyways, safety of birds on migration, and focusing mainly on illegal killing of birds, which is still sadly one of the #1 threats that birds face, not only in our neck of the woods, the Eastern Mediterranean flyway, but everywhere you go. I mean, even with developed conservation awareness around the world, there's still illegal killing of birds all over. The Eastern flyways, India, China, Asia, that's pretty bad. A lot of the Middle Eastern countries, Southern Europe, Mediterranean, and sadly, even in the Americas, there's still stuff like poaching of painted buntings, trapping of birds in Cuba, illegal killing of waders in South America, Argentina, Brazil. It's people don't really speak about this as loudly as they should, I think, because it's still going on, despite the fact that there's powerful conservation powers in action. Still, millions and millions of birds are being illegally hunted every single year. So, having said that, Champions of the Flyway is an event that puts a spotlight and raises funds towards specific conservation causes. Every year we go somewhere else. And this year, 2023, we're proud to partner with our partners from Kazakhstan and Bulgaria and focus on the beautiful red-breasted goose. The red-breasted goose is a very small, shy, beautiful species that is rapidly declining. In the past 20 years, the population has shrunk by over 40%, which is truly alarming. They nest in far northern Siberia, far northern Russia, and as they migrate south, they stop to stage in lakes around Kazakhstan, and where they are particularly vulnerable as they stage during migration. And then they continue their way southwest, skirting the Black Sea and wintering around Bulgaria in small numbers. So this year we're partnering with our friends in Kazakhstan and Bulgaria, and all the money that we will raise will go to their actions on the ground, both hard actions such as monitoring, tagging, and enforcement of the illegal killing issues, and also public awareness, education, and so on, to explain the importance of these birds and why people should not just go out and blow birds out of the sky. And that's it in a nutshell. I mean, we're really excited after a couple of hard years with COVID that sort of shut all of us down in terms of international events. Champions 23 is really coming back nicely with a lot of international participants. And we're excited. We're really pumped. It's going to be a beautiful event. Fundraising is going well. We can always do better, but we're excited to be back, and very excited for the Kowa support. Kowa has been supporting us ever since Jeff put on the Kowa hat, and we're very, very delighted for that. And it's great to see 3 Kowa affiliated teams participating this year. So welcome one, welcome all, and we're looking forward to seeing you in Israel. And well, race day is literally 3 weeks away, so bring it.
We're ready. It's such a great event. You know, I mean, I made it for year 2, not year 1, but I was a fan already after year 1 with all the buzz, the social media. You can just feel the family kind of, vibe going on there, everybody. So let me just quickly pull up, if I am smart enough to do this, see if this works. There we go. So that is the playing field. It's the Negev Desert region of Eilat, strategically shaped on the north end to include Nitzana over here, a really cool spot. Yerham up here as well, which is a true oasis in the desert, and a must-see spot for those tuning in. But it's based out of Eilat, at the very southern tip down here. So that's your playing field, this purple triangle. And basically the teams will have 24 hours in that playing field to detect and record as many bird species as possible. There is an award at the end for the team that sees the most bird species, but candidly, this is just the hook, right? The important part, as Jonathan already said, is raising the conservation dollars, and that's really why we're doing this more than anything else. It's kind of like that show, the improv show on TV, where the points don't matter. In a way, it's kind of like that, at least in my mind. The most important thing is raising those important conservation dollars and trying to support this globally threatened, adorable little goose, the red-breasted goose. It's a bird I've not seen in the wild and look forward to. It's on my bucket list, so I'm hoping that they'll stick around for a long time. Let's start with Alen. Ellen, would you like to tell us a little bit about your strategy? I think you've been on every year, maybe?
I've been in racing since the get-go, yeah, since 1914, in a variety of different teams, mostly from the Jerusalem Bird Observatory. But then
Since World War One.
Since World War One, yeah. In 2020, decided that in order to sort of counteract the overall maleness of the event, that I would try to pull together a full team of women from around the world, and that's what we've done. This year was 6 women from North America and Uganda, Uzbekistan, sorry, and Israel. And our strategy, for the most part, is fundraising. We start early and hard in December, hitting up all our friends, relatives, acquaintances, and all the people that are still willing to talk to us after years of fundraising. They see us coming. It's like, oh, Alan's in contact. It's December. It must be champions of the Flyway. They see us coming from miles away. But we're only just starting to talk about race day strategy. We do the full 24 hours as much as we can. Starting at midnight, we head out, and then go as long as we can. Usually starting in Eilat and moving our way north to Nitzana for sundown, and then headed down towards Eilat for sunset, and then wrap up if there's any wrap up to be done in the evening. After a good solid hot meal after dark, because one of the things about racing all day is you don't get to eat really well. You're grabbing it on the run, and so a good hot meal is usually really good by about 8 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, that's the strategy so far.
Unless there's an
Like
owl,
you've been-
calling, especially if there's an owl calling outside the restaurant, like a scops owl or something.
That would be
you
good to. A strategy to pick which restaurant might give the most birds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta, I'm sure that's already in the works, you're scouting that out. Yeah, so Ellen is obviously our absolute veteran of the race on the panel today. This will be my 4th time being present for the race, but I only competed once. On year 2, we got a really dumb stroke of luck and actually won the race, and I just opted never to do it again, drop the mic, because I knew it was a fluke. Smart enough to just walk away, and not compete again. But this is a different thing, and we're hoping through our team to be able to, maybe inspire other teams. I think you hit on it a little bit. One of the things about these, it can be real intimidating with all these very intense, teams. They're very competitive, and I think it turns some people off. So, a lot of people like taking photos of birds. Maybe it will lead to a new chapter, a more inclusive chapter, is what we're hoping to inspire through our, efforts, and just post a decent bar so that people got a number to chase, but we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun. So as well as Ellen, we've got Hannah and Eric, who are one-time competitors, competitions, whatever you call it, participants. And then Lisa Shibley, it's gonna be her first time with Women in Step. You've been from the sidelines and close to coming this year. You're actually going over. It's gonna be fantastic. Of course, Chris, Julian are over there as first timers. Paul and Rob on my team represented here would be first timers as well. So I guess it's you, me, Hannah, and Eric, and then everyone else is a newbie. So it's great that we're going to have such a kind of diverse team as well.
Great.
Hannah and Eric, do you want to talk about your situation quickly? We can.
Yeah, so I guess we don't really like to
Introduce
talk about it together since we are on separate teams. We can't
Fierce
mix.
competition.
Yeah, exactly.
She won't give me their strategy. I need their fundraising strategy. Otherwise, she won't give it up.
No one can match it. No one can match it. It doesn't matter. Even if we had the recipe, they're superstars. We just can't, but we'll do our best.
Yeah, but Alen knows everywhere to go and everything to do. So I really just tag along, and provide comedic additions to the day. But I think one of the biggest things that I enjoyed doing with this competition, at least last year, was sharing about it on social media throughout the day, just tweeting and, Facebooking and everything, what we're seeing and what we're doing. So then folks can join along with us and hopefully, either donate or be advocates or participate in the future. So that's something that really excites me about this competition, as well as seeing new birds too. I just so enjoyed, driving through the desert and looking for shrikes along the roadside. And, we ended up seeing a cream-colored courser. So much fun.
Yeah, it's all with the posting on social media. It's so much fun watching the WhatsApp group that we've got going. It just like explodes with life. Like 2 days before the race, all of a sudden you're seeing posts of this and that and this and that all over the playing field, and then the day of the race, it's just like hardcore. Every 2 minutes, there's another post like, oh, we're seeing this here, we're seeing this here. So it's truly a friendly competition of everyone's sharing all the sightings all day long. There's no hiding, there's no nothing. It's just everyone needs to see every single bird, and all day long that chat's just blowing up, and my phone won't shut up the entire day because it's just bing, bing, bing. It's just the whole day of all the sightings from the far north end, all Eurohome, all the way down to Ilat. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, a lot of collaboration.
It really is.
It
So
can be a
can
little
you guys expand-
frustrating.
Yeah, it can be frustrating because it's like I'm still like 40 kilometers from there. Why are you seeing it now? It should already be. Yeah.
We always tell participants, that, I'll just go a minute back to the playing field. I mean, the playing field is basically a lot in the south in the immediate area, which is super birdy. And then the north part, the Negev, which is greener and more lush and has a lot of birds. And in the middle, there's this big chunk of desert that you really need to know how to navigate, because you need the desert birds on the one hand, but on the other hand, if you hit it at noon on a warm day, then forget about it. And they don't call it the Dakar of bird races for nothing. You really need to crack that desert if you want a shot. And that WhatsApp group, which we're very proud of, I mean, other races have started doing it as well worldwide, the sharing of info. It's very cool, but on the other hand, it's super distracting. You have to stick to your guns. You chose a strategy and you chose a route, don't go chasing something. Hannah, even if it's a lifer, even if it's a good bird, you need to be strong and stick to your route. Otherwise, you'll get into that gray zone, and that
And never go backwards. Never go
you
backwards.
don't want to go there. So
I mean, candidly, in 2015, in year 2, that's how we won. To be quite honest with you, we were the only ones that stuck with our route, and we had the advantage of our team here in the U.S. Big days are a really common thing, and our team between us had done like 100 of these events, and it seemed like, especially most of the folks we ran into up there, we were saying, "This is my first bird race. I'm real excited," and we're like, "What? How's that possible?" But yeah, you're right. I mean, you focus on the birds, but at the end of the day, really, you're fighting daylight. You are chasing daylight hours more than you are the birds. The birds will be there. You get as many as you can, but you have to get to each spot with daylight left to be able to see those birds. And that's the bigger challenge in any one of these events, obviously. Hannah and Eric, go back just a second. Can you maybe go into depth on this different team aspect here? You can kind of introduce yourself, explain who you're with.
Sure. Yeah. So I guess rundown on us. We are Hannah and Eric. Our claim to fame is a podcast called Hannah and Eric Go Birding. Usually we do everything together. We work together. We're together 24/7. So this is completely different for us.
It's a whole day apart. It's our one vacation apart from each other every year.
It was very stressful last year, and especially since he wasn't responding to my texts. It was like, "Are you okay?"
She was looking for strategy. I wasn't giving that up.
Anyways, I, a couple years ago saw, I think it was Lisa, maybe, or Amy posted that they were, participating in an all women's team for this competition, and Champions of the Flyway has been something on my radar for years. I watched as a lot of American teams had gone and always been super jealous. And so when I saw that post, I messaged and I said, hey, you guys have room for an annoying podcaster? And they said, sure, join us. So that was my introduction to participating in this event. And then last year, Eric was kind of trying to figure out how to compete.
It became crunch time at that point. Like, okay, I need a reason to go over there too. I can't let Hannah go to Israel by herself. So I scrambled, and Alen was awesome and was able to find me a team of people that were looking for a third. So I got on. I can't remember what our team name was last year.
I don't know.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Yeah, there we go. No regrets. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so we were no regrets last year, and then this year Jeff had this crazy outlandish idea of let's carry some scopes and only count things that we get photos of through the digiscoping. So I was like, count me in on that. So that's where we're at. So I'm on Team Kowa Scopers. We're going to be, like Jeff already explained, we're going to be taking photos through binoculars, through scopes, and only counting what we get photographic evidence of. So,
and since we're not competing against each other this year, you will answer my text, right?
we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see if we let him. We'll take good care of him though. I'm picturing a scene like K-19 with lounge chairs and toddies in the scopes while we're just,
I was
picking
to say,
up all
what's
the
your
birds we can see.
strategy, Jeff? What's the strategy of the Kowa scopers?
It's to be determined. TBD. We'll figure it out. I mean, I would like to be at Nitsana at daybreak. As you know, that is a great desert patch to Yeracham, like most of the other teams. That seems to be sort of the key strategy. That desert, of course, is the only spot where you can reliably see the McQueen's Buster dancing, which of course is, if we can get that on the scope, I'm already done. Drop the scope and walk away. But cream colored coursers, you get flights of sand grouse there and some of the better larks. And then Yeracham, so many bird species in that oasis, to chase down. So we could start with a good list. I mean, for us, it's not going to do us as much good to get the onesie twosies. We need to concentrate on the spots where we can get, numerous shots, because it's going to take us longer to shoot. So it's going to be a little different strategy and a lower total, of course, but we'll see. That's it so far. We'll make it up as we go along. The absolute guarantee is we're going to have as much fun as any team on the playing field. I promise you that. And we won't take it too seriously, but want to be proud of the bar we're putting up. Let's check in with our friends south of the border here. Chris and Julian, you can talk to us about your expectations. What are you looking forward to?
Tell us our strategy, Chris.
What's our strategy? You tell them. To be honest, we're just looking forward to just being there. I mean, Santiago, who's one of our videographers, he's never even crossed the Atlantic before. This for us is just an experience to just savor every minute of it. But it's going to be fun. I mean, I think we have a slight situation that's similar to yours, I suppose, Jeff, in that we're filming, a fly on the wall documentary while we're racing, but we do have the few days of scouting beforehand to try and get some of those birds on film, so we don't have to worry about trying to film them during the race itself. But no, I mean, my main challenge is going to be keeping Diego awake for 24 hours. As anyone who's birded with him knows, he's a fan of sleeping in the van for long periods of time. Julian is our secret weapon. He's one of Colombia's best ultra cyclists, and so regularly rides 1,000 kilometers in 80 hours without sleeping. So he's our secret weapon when it comes to keeping awake and energetic. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be pumping up Jeff and Jonathan for some information before we get out there, because this is our first ever time in Israel, first ever time at Champions, first ever time at any of this, and also trying to convince Diego to get a little bit excited and animated about waders and little brown jod, which is a Colombian birder. Again, Jonathan knows it takes some pushing to get him excited about those families of birds. But no, we're just excited to be there in general. We're going to be filming 3 episodes of the show over about 8 days in Israel while we're out there, so we're taking advantage of the race to film some other stuff as well. And just, a whole bunch of new bird families, lifers. Like Jeff, our tactic is still to be determined. But we're going to be bringing a whole load of Colombian coffee to keep ourselves going for 24 hours.
Yeah, meeting the other teams as well.
Yeah, it'll be fun to meet the other teams as well, and we will be bugging you with cameras at various points during the pre-events and post-events. But feel free during the race, if Santiago tries to film you, to tell him to politely bugger off.
And kneecap him with our scopes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Run away, take it out. No, it'll be great. We're looking forward to it. Obviously, you're more than welcome to pick my brain for as much as you can. Join us for some scouting. That first day we're going to scout our way south from Tel Aviv on day one. Start again at first light near Nitzana and to Yeracham, and arrive in a lot after dark on day one, and the rest of it will be probably from Yotvata south. The rest of our scouting. The one thing that we haven't mentioned yet, is why Israel, and I think we've kind of really missed a huge story here. Israel in springtime, the Eilat area in particular in the mountains, get one of the most remarkable migrations, visible migrations in the entire world. The raptors and cranes and things that are, coursing over those mountain ranges. It stopped us dead in our tracks in year 2. I remember when we were pulling out to the one sewage treatment plant that's approaching Yotvata, that's kind of inland. I forget where that is exactly, what kilometer, 20 something. And we're on that road, and just these raptors were streaming across from the mountains to our west, cross that valley right where the road was, to the mountains in Jordan to continue their trek. And we just couldn't even. It was just remarkable, the sheer volume of birds going on. We just had to stop dead, and we just stopped right in the middle of the road and watching this incredible pageantry that occurs over Eilat, Israel, every single spring. Jonathan, can you give us some idea of the magnitude, just sort of some numbers, average?
Yeah, well, in terms of like Jeff said, I'm a pretty well-traveled birder, and I can tell you that when it comes to spring migration, no better place in the world beats the second half of March and early April in southern Israel. You're talking about, like Jeff said, soaring birds. These are birds that spent the winter in Africa and are all moving back north along the Rift Valley, and they basically funnel into Eilat after crossing the Sahara Desert in the south. They reach the Gulf of Eilat, where they have the Eilat and Sinai mountain ridges on their west and the Red Sea on their east. And basically that causes a funnel effect that everything spills right over into southern Israel. So when it comes to soaring birds, the volume is incredible. The bulk of the world population of steppe buzzards, steppe eagles, a good day in the Eilat Mountains during that time is easily 20 to 30,000 birds. You get there in the morning, and that, Diego will like that because you don't need to be there too early. You need the thermals to start rising. But if you hit it just right in the Eilat Mountains, we've got several watch points along the mountains road. And if you hit it right, you're talking about, like Jeff said, Jeff has seen raptor migration in other places, but the Eilat Mountains on a good morning is just, knock your socks off. It's truly incredible, both the volume and the diversity. In terms of numbers, Israel gets about something like 2 million soaring birds going through every season. Plus, and I'm not even talking about the little guys, which is, even more impressive, the hundreds of millions of passerines, water birds that migrate through the region. There's sites just north of Eilat, like the kilometer 20 salt pans that Jeff mentioned, that you get there and it's just buzzing, these salt pans. You're looking at, you get there at the end of the day. Most teams get there in the late afternoon as like their last major site before they hit North Beach for the seabirds at sunset. And then you get there and there's, boom, another 30 species to your trip list, to your day list. Waders, 6 species of hirundines, swifts. Every little puddle, every little bush will hold warblers and shrikes and wheatears in the open plains. And it's just, I'm getting I have a spotted cuckoo screaming in my yard now. He arrived this morning and I keep getting like you know. But all these birds are like, it's exciting, you know, doesn't matter how many times I've been there, done that, how many days in the field. We throw so much crap at this planet. And when you sit there that morning and see this volume of migration that nature goes on and, you know, birds push through, it's just truly, you know, humbling, incredible, you know, choose your word. It's just truly amazing, which can be distracting on a big day again. Because you're sitting there and there's 10,000 steppe buzzards and black kites and something going, you know, it's 2 to 5 species that you're putting on your list, but it's just the volume is just mind blowing. So yeah, Eilat is Eilat and southern Israel in that period of spring when birds need to rush back to their territories in the northern latitudes. It's and there's always something cool that shows up. The volume of birders, we've got the Eilat Birds Festival the preceding week, and there's a lot of birders on the ground, and there's good birds being found, and it's just, you know, you open the book, you know, the birds of Europe and the Middle East, and there's just about every single page, you know, there's something that you're going to find. And at that time, you're talking about 8 to 9 species of wheatears, 9 species of larks, you know, 4 species of shrikes, 5 species of hirundines. You know, it's just, well, you can hear the excitement. I mean, it's truly like I'm getting pumped, you know, spring is here and, you know, let's go. It's really,
It never gets old.
no, it's beautiful.
And Jonathan hit a key point. The Eilat Bird Festival is the preceding week to the race. So there will be eBird trip lists from the festival, as well as from Israelis who are scouting the area and other teams that are scouting the area. So that is extremely good gen. Keep an eye out for those trip lists, because you'll see what's moving around.
What's moving around, and also which sites are the best, because this fluctuates slightly every year. You know, sometimes it may even depend on a specific field somewhere that's being harvested. A good compost heap that showed up in the middle of nowhere, you know, a particular reservoir that's better than others. So this volume of, you know, literally hundreds of birders are going to be in Eilat from something like the 20th of March, both Israelis and from overseas. And there's a lot of valuable information rolling around. Like Jeff said, the WhatsApp group is going to start. Usually I open it up at around like the 15th of March for sightings, and people start sharing information. The actual checklist, there's an official checklist of the race that you need to hand in at the end of the day. And this official checklist, we comprise it, we put it together 2 days before the race based on what's down there, you know, what we know. It could be a brown booby, which is a rarity, but it's been sitting on a buoy off North Beach. And it could be some vagrant red-tailed shrike that has been around, and it could be something else that will go on the list, whereas in other years it will not. There's an olive-backed pipit, which is wintering in Mitzpe Ramon on a roundabout in the middle of the city, in the middle of the town. He's been there for like 3 weeks now. And, you know, if that sticks in, you know, if he stays, it's going to be our first olive-backed pipit ever on race day.
Yeah.
So
That'd be an interesting scene in a roundabout.
Yeah.
I got this picture like 5 and 6 teams just going around like everyone got it, looking out the window. It's gonna be insanity.
Well, a
few
few
years
years
ago-
ago,
Pointing out the window.
few years ago, there was a little bittern that in the roundabout of the Dolphin Reef Beach in Eilat. It's literally a tiny little pool of water with some phragmites in the middle of the road, and this little bittern was sitting there for like 5 days in that tiny little roundabout. And you say it, you laugh about it, but people would, you know, drive around. Okay, there it is, let's go. You know, like.
Oh yeah.
And
No, that's the way the game's played, right? You know, you don't take time to smell the roses necessarily on a big day. You get it and go. Let's check in with Paul Cardos and Rob Wilton, 2 of the other members of the Kowa scoping team. Quickly, both newbies, and get some of their thoughts, what they're looking forward to, and you know, what they're feeling about this.
I guess for me, the whole experience, it sounds like it's going to be an incredible adventure. Something that I would never have had the opportunity to do So yeah, I'm going to make the absolute most of it. I should be sticking close to you, Jeff, because I know British birds, and I know you've told me I will possibly see. I may not recognize some, but obviously it's going to be a whole new.
You're our secret weapon with the calls up in your home coming from the bushes. You know, some of your garden birds that you're going to recognize a little sharps from it.
Should be okay.
No idea.
And obviously, I love Digiscope. I've been Digiscoping for years, so I mean, it's just going to be incredible to be able to Digiscope all these fantastic new species that I'll never have seen before in an amazing location that I've never been to. So, and also we're going to be like Chris and the guys at the Birds TV. We're going to be documenting it as much as we can and recording it, and just so we've got this, you know, to look back on, and we can share it with all the Kowa community and really help to promote it in the future. So yeah, can't wait.
The story is so big, you know. It's not just the conservation, it's not just the race, it's the migration, it's Israel itself, it's the desert region. There's so much to see, and even you know, of course, there's a historical aspect that we tend to ignore that we're going to soak in some on this trip as well after the race, but you know, but yeah, no, it's an amazing region, just so rich in so many ways, and yet it's a desert. And as Jonathan points out, you know, it changes, you know, so dramatically. And you know, I remember my first year there, and years subsequently, you know, you're driving through the desert, you see a patch of green, or, you know, something that's obviously had water recently, and you stop, you know, that's there it is, that's the spot, you know. So even for a newbie, it's not tremendously difficult to figure it out. The hot spot sometimes, you know, because water in a desert is a special thing, you know, and that's one of the keys. Let's check in with Paul quick. Mr. Cardos, some words of wisdom.
Hello. No, just super stoked to get out there. I'm excited to see everybody like in person. A lot of you we've been able to catch up with, but because of COVID and stuff, I haven't seen anybody in a long time in that way. So it'll be nice. It'll be nice to get some a lot of screen time behind the digiscoping. It's been fun to do instead of just out here in my backyard or at the random event. So it'll be cool to do that. And yeah, I'm just going to be there trying to provide some you know, levity to the situation, I guess, more so making sure we have scopes, gas in the van, things of that nature.
Details.
But yeah, I mean, and then we're going to be pushing here. Basically, now that we've got everything sorted out on the conservation side, trying to raise some funds, both for our team and then for the event itself. We're really fortunate to be able to be a part of it. I'm super happy that Kowa sees the importance in events like this, and they back us not only with us having a team, but to also help sponsor other teams to participate. So yeah, just really looking forward to it. And the countdown's on, man. We got like almost 2 weeks and we're out of here.
Yeah. And a lot happens that week in the road, you know, from the field. There's always a lot of content going out, more content than anything, you know, as others have, you know, implied. You know, our day jobs are no longer there. We're in the field. We're actually doing it, and you know, the communications go up exponentially naturally. So you'll be hearing from us ad nauseum, all of us, from the field as we scout, you know, and it's fun. It's fun to sit and watch even from home for me, you know, because you can kind of live it, you know, secondhand. The one thing we've talked about over and over, and haven't really talked about, is right there. I mean, this is the key. We'll get with Lisa. She's a master at this, you know, being women in step. But here's the link. You just go to championsoflyway.com, separated with the dashes, as you can see there. You can go to the 2023 teams tab, and you can select the team that you want to make a donation, you know, on behalf of. Scopers need help. Shooting something stuck in my throat, but seriously, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it all goes in one big check, one big fat check to the specific conservation cause. So that's what we're doing here. Take a screenshot, you know, take a shot of that with your phone, whatever else. We'll bring it back up at the end, but that's where you go go to the Champions of the Flyway website. If you forget that, just you can just Google Champions of the Flyway, it'll come up, and you go to the teams page. You can click on any one of the individual teams and make a donation on behalf of that team. We all have a goal that we're trying to hit for conservation. All right, let's bring up with that Lisa Shibley, who also has another. It seems like, Lisa, you've been doing this forever, you know, because you started and then COVID interrupted you, and then last year you couldn't make it, and even though you've been part of the team, you're actually going to go. So this is so exciting.
It'll be my first year in Israel. I'm can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. The first, you were talking about all the big days that you've done. My first big day was 1994 for the Tucson Audubon Birdathon. And they're so much fun because the adrenaline, even though you get, by the end of the day, you're getting all wired and everything, but the adrenaline is just pumping, and every single bird is just this rush, like, yes. And it's I can't wait to experience that. I've never done it in a place I didn't know. You know, I'd been birding in Tucson, I've been birding in Massachusetts, done birdathons here, and I just feel like I'm gonna be in a panic all day because it's gonna be so exciting, and I have so much knowledge that I have never been able to apply, and I'm gonna have to rely on my teammates, especially Len, a lot. But we've been having so much fun since Elena invited me to be part of the team as Manomet's representative in 2019, because a lot of Elaine's teams previously had been joint teams between her banders and the Manomet banders. Manomet has one of the oldest banding observatories in the United States. And I'm not a bander, I actually support shorebird scientists, but when it didn't work out for any of our banders to join her, she invited me to be part of the women's team. So I'm still representing Manomet. They've been part of this race for a very long time too. And but I'm excited to finally be able to participate.
Well earned, you know, badge of honor. You've been, like I said, supporting it from the sidelines so hard. And to that, why don't you talk about what's behind your head here?
So I am so not an artist. I don't have a single artistic molecule in my body, but I love it. I appreciate it, and I love artists because they think about the world in such extraordinary ways. So I have friends that I've talked to about doing art for Champions, and I don't have a picture of it here, but we just raffled our embroidery hoop, and David Aborn won that, who's a ornithologist from Tennessee and has been a supporter of Champions for a long time, and that was done by my friend Chrissy Anderson. And then this is art done by Meredith Morehouse. Meredith, she actually also worked for Manomet for a long time, and now is off doing her own art and as a but is still involved in the conservation world. So she does art for conservation, and her style is stained glass. She creates these gorgeous stained glass pieces that she started with shorebirds because that's what she works with, but she has a lot of designs that I said, this red-breasted goose is so gorgeous and it looks like it should be stained glass. Would you do one for us? And she jumped at the chance, and she created this, so stunning. It just leaps out of the page at me when I look at it. And she's actually also creating a piece, an art piece that we're going to auction off to hang in your gallery of art at home. If anybody is interested, take a look for that coming up. But on a smaller scale, she has set up her pieces in it's threadless is the domain. So if you scan, you take your phone and you put it in your camera app, and you scan the little thing right there, it'll take you to the page, and every purchase, a chunk of that purchase will be donated to save the red-breasted goose. So we want people to get their swag and to look awesome and to show off Meredith's design and raise some money to save the red-breasted goose is all part of that.
And yeah, you guys do that better than anyone. I think I kind of alluded to it, but they are the
Hey, you
two-time
got it.
champs.
I'm glad. I didn't have it.
I
I
just
didn't
pulled
have
that
it
up.
up.
So there
Isn't
you
it
go. There's
gorgeous?
the needlepoint. Yeah, gorgeous, incredible. I can't. I don't have room for it on my wall happily, but you know. Plus, you guys are so far ahead of us. I donated my funds into my team. We got a lot of catching up to do. However, there it is. Yeah, no, I mean, fantastic, great stuff. I am going to need a red-breasted goose T-shirt. That's on my short list. I'm gonna get me one of those today. But yeah, so that's it, Chris. And Julian, one thing, if you guys want to jump in, what I'd recommend, it's hard to stop and brew the coffee on a 24-hour chocolate covered coffee beans. I don't know if that's something.
I'm well prepared. I've got my hand grinder, my thermos flask, my portable AeroPress.
AeroPress.
Oh, we don't mess about with coffee in Colombia, Jeff.
No, so you're not gonna, none of the just handful of chocolate covered
That too, yeah, we'll be bringing
beans.
that.
Okay, because that kept me going in 2015. Michael O'Brien tried to kill me with lack of sleep, actually, but it was a fun time. So good. I'm glad to know. Maybe I'll.
Speaking of raffles, sorry if there's 1 minute for me to jump in quickly as well, because we're about to announce the stage. We'll do it on this. We're also going to be raffling off for our cause some. I don't know if anybody's watched the show. We've partnered up with some of the lodges that we've stayed at in Colombia on the show to offer some accommodation and experience
cool.
to people who win the raffles. So we're raffling off 5 different things. We've got a night. All of these are for 2 people, for a couple of 2 people. A night at Alcana Bird Lodge with 3 meals, one of the nicest bird lodges in Colombia. A night at La Florida, where you can see the multicolored tanager. Jeff's been up there to see that area, and a night at Hacienda Venecia Coffee Farm with a coffee experience included as well. And the birds in those places are amazing. Diego's also chucking into the hat a morning of guiding with himself at any destination, wherever he happens to be or you happen to be. And then we're also including a full day birds and cultural Bogota experience with us 2 and Santiago, all subject to, you know, when you guys are here and availability and stuff. So we're saying, you know, $10 donation is a ticket in that raffle. Any additional 10 is another ticket. So, you know, if you're coming to Colombia or planning to come to Colombia, or you know someone who's coming and want to gift them a great birding experience, then yeah, good opportunity to do so.
Yeah, it's awesome. And just a note that, you know, these things, I mean, share with us, because we, you know, with our channels, you know, the main champions channels, you know, that'll, you know, you have good reach, but, you know, we can help on that as well. And you know, you keep saying Colombian coffee, but you know, Israel has some pretty awesome Arabic coffee. You know, that I must tell you that when it comes to, you know, a good cup of coffee in the morning, then you know, we're right up there. So, you know, you will have no shortage of good coffee when you're in Israel as well. So
Yeah, I've experienced both. Both have helped me get down the road. Although I got to admit, on race day, we wound up getting the generic, like, canned cold coffees, because that was what was easy to find, you know, in a 2-second bathroom stop or something, you know.
That's horrible.
Blasphemy.
It's just mainline caffeine, yeah.
Yeah, caffeine
that's
and
all we need.
15, you know, spoons of sugar in this little can, and let's go.
I say it like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, but well, a few more things. You know, Israel is awesome for mammals, and you're going to be you run into mammals quite frequently. I mean, even large mammals. There's no game hunting in Israel. Things like Nubian ibex, foxes. If you're lucky, wolves, hyena. These things are out and about, and I mean, you'll see them when you travel on the roads, especially in the early mornings or late in the day. And other type of mammals are little kids that are running around in volume with Champions of the Flyway. I mean, Champions, a lot with the help of Alan, the Jerusalem Bird Observatory, and other organizations we work with. I mean, many kids from Israel, kid birders, grow up knowing about Champions of the Flyway and participating. So it's really awesome to arrive in a place like Nitsana, you know, the middle of nowhere, that big, you know, railway hide for the bustards, and you're standing there at first light, and you got like world-class birders shoulder to shoulder with these little kids, you know, that are all like pumped up, and it's, I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the race, is that you run into these kids teams, and you know, the joint excitement, you know, it's not just, you know, hardcore push. Arctic Red Poles are back. Yeah, the Arctic Red Poles are a notorious Finnish team that two-time winners, and they're stone cold, you know, not just because they're Finns, you know, which they tend to be stone cold, but these guys are hardcore bird watchers, a lot of experience in Eilat, and they're back after a couple of years of hiatus. So they're in, you know, they mean business. They don't talk to each other. You know, they don't talk. They know exactly what they're doing. So on the one hand, you got these guys, but on the other hand, you've got kids, you know, which are just sparkling. Even at the end of the day, at the finish line, they're still going strong. So
I think the Arctic Red Poles are almost undefeated, aren't they? I think they lost by one species one year. It's acquired them, if I'm not
Can't remember.
correct. In year two, it seems to me they lost to some upstart American team by one species. Not that I'm, you know, throw down the gauntlet or anything, but no, they're a fourth. And after that, they decided they were never going to lose again, and I don't think they have. So this would be interesting with a couple years off, and you know, the locals refining their routes and pushing the numbers to see if they're still going to be able to be competitive in the race proper. But again, I walked away with the trophy one time and happy for that, but it's not what the race is about. Champions of the Flyway, the champions of Flyway are the teams that are raising the conservation and championing these conservation causes and trying to protect these endangered bird species, which are highlighted every year. And that's why we're all doing this. We're going to have a heck of a lot of fun. You can see a lot from all of us. Sounds like you could maybe win some a little mini trip in Colombia by sponsoring the Birder Show. We're going to step up our game, you know, if we want to get any funding amongst these two teams here, you know, for our team. But at the end of the day, so long as conservation is being supported somewhere, that's what it's really all about. A lot of creativity. Does anyone of our attendees have any questions about the race, about the event that we haven't covered, or, you know, specifically want to comment out? You can hit us with Q&A or chat. We'll be looking for that.
I'd like to ask a question, because obviously this is all new to me. How does a bird race? How does a bird race work then? So the teams go out. Is it just done literally pen and pencil, make a list, and then you just bring the reports back, and it's all done basically on trust, and then you count at the end?
To a degree, and Jonathan will be able to tell you that, but they do vet the list, you know, if there's anything on there, and when you get the final checklist on the at the team sharing situation, Jonathan will be very pointed, along with Yoav, about if you see any of these species, get a picture or show it to another team or expect it to be removed.
Yeah,
So,
we have
there is
basically yeah, it has, the bottom line is that it's trust. I mean, if people want to lie, they can lie, you know, but it'll only, you know, we're not going to bother with that. You get an official checklist during the day. You could use whatever you want, eBirds, apps, pen and pencil, as you may, as long as at the finish line, you hand in a proper, clean, official checklist. On that checklist, as mentioned, are all the possible species, and then some, and also a write-in section. And some species do require a proof. Proof can be either a photo or getting another team/teams on the bird. So like I said, it's all about sharing. And if you go to the rules and regulations page on the website, everything's listed there pretty clearly. We're not, you know, super strict until the finish line. At the finish line, we have a judging panel, and you'll sit with us, even though it's going to be late and we're all going to be very tired. We do go bird by bird, and you will be grilled as to specific species. it could be even something which, could be fairly common, but no other team has seen. That also could be, like the alarm bells. And a lot of people end up, having species removed. So, take care. Again, we're strict, but we're friendly, so it'll be cool. And, it's not just hand your list and goodbye, but we do sit with the teams for a few minutes, have a cold gold star, and speak about. And Jeff heard gold star, and he's like,
And if
Gold
you,
Star is
yeah.
Gold Star is the good Israeli beer that we like. So
Oh, nice. If you spot something and you're not you spot a species you're not 100% sure, you just don't guess. You just don't add that to the list, I assume.
No, it's
no,
all or
birds
nothing.
need to be definitely identified and seen by most of the team as well. It's not enough if you go wandering off and you see something that your other team members have not seen, that does not go on the list. You can see a bird, if that does happen. For example, a bee eater flies over, and you identify it, you've seen it, but if others catch up with it during, the remainder of the day, then it's clean, it's fine. But if something was seen by one or two team members, that does not go on the list.
Rob, we're all good, man, because we're gonna have photo evidence of everything. So
Exactly.
we can just ask somebody else.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say that in 2015, despite finishing really well, our team had probably the least amount of experience with this group of birds of any team. We had a lot of experience with bird races, of creating a route and the discipline to stick with it. But our theory was absolutely shoot first and then, ask questions later. So we got to the finish line, and Jonathan's like, yeah, this one, you got a picture of this one, and it was fun to, like, almost invariably the whole team had various pictures of the same bird, because that's what we did. It's like, I don't know, that might be, get a picture of, boom, 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 and then we figure it out in the car on the drive, and things like that, to make sure that we were solid with our list. And things that got away that we didn't get a picture of. It's like, that could have been, but you can't call it.
I wanted
But
to
it's fun. Go
mention
ahead.
how awesome it is that so many of the race rules are for the bird's protection, like no playback, no bothering nesting species. And I actually have a question for Jeff, because one of them is that you cannot use spotlights. You can use car headlights, but not spotlights. So what's your strategy for night digiscoping without spotlights?
Well, that's going to be.
That's where we're going to go to sleep.
Yeah, I think
So you're just not doing the night at all. You're just racing from dawn to dusk.
That's when we drink the
see.
beer.
We're going to see. I'm going to see if there are strategic locations with enough ambient light with the new 99s, our big 99 millimeter scope, and the night mode on some of these cameras that will fill light that's not there. I remember in 2015. We finished the last gull we got was white-eyed gull sitting on buoys at the dock without any additional light, just by the ambient light. So there's going to be some opportunity, some of the salt pans, and that'll come into the scouting and see if there are going to be opportunities. So it's not going to be impossible, but I still think there's, like Jonathan said, some of the coolest experiences for me were being out at night in Yotvata, listening to the packs of jackals calling and barn owls calling, and seeing it. The one time we had an Eurasian, not Eurasian, excuse me, the Pharaoh eagle owl sitting on a rock, like right on the side of the road. You pulled around the corner, and there it was in the headlights. So there are opportunities like that, or a nightjar or something like that. So it's not going to be impossible. We'll make that call as we're scouting and working out our route. That'll be part of the strategy, though, to see what capabilities we have. But it's not impossible, like I said, with the large objective scopes and the new night modes on the phones in particular. Could be a bit of a game changer for us. So we might be able to do more at night than we think.
Well, and just so we know, the moon phase, as long as we got a clear sky, we're at like 25% illumination for the moon. So we could be good for the 27th.
Yeah.
Oh, and just so regarding strategy, Jeff, I know you and your team are planning to be out early scouting. on Friday
Mhm.
morning. The
Mhm.
times change here in Israel early Friday morning. So you get an extra hour of sleep.
Nice. We'll need it.
Yeah.
I'm one of these people that can't sleep on a plane, so like 18 hours from my house with a stop, to Israel, I think is what it is. So I'm going to be behind the 8 ball invariably when I go across the big pond every time, land there. It's morning. So we got a different strategy. We're going to get there in the evening and sleep, and honest to goodness, real sleep in Tel Aviv at a hotel to begin, and then leave at dark 30 the first morning. Hope that's going to be enough to start us off on the right foot too. So we'll see. Doesn't matter. It'll be fun either way. Let's see. Anything on chat Q&A? I don't see anything. Well, all I can say is it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to having this experience with all of you. We'll undoubtedly all be running together in the field and enjoying the spectacular migration and the pageantry and spectacle of the migration that occurs over a lot is just world class. This is absolutely one of the best in the entire world as far as being there in spring, and it's such a magical experience in of itself. Just everything about it, and then the teams are all fantastic. Everyone's sharing and happy to see you, and it's gonna be fantastic. I think we're all staying at the host hotel, so that'll be good as well, that we can we'll have those off hours, with the gold star to be able to catch up with these conservation minded friends from all around the world that will become lifelong friends after we meet them. It's kind of an amazing experience. Anyone else have anything else, questions or comments that they would like to add? Last minute pitch for give us more money.
I just want to say something. I was going through my pictures from last year, and I think I actually hold the record for the most Kowa scope birds in Champions of the Flyway. I mean, I got this little crake last year at Yorham Lake. So I look forward to seeing you guys, break my record of that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to now go through the list so we know what the bar is. We're looking forward to seeing that. Anna, now
I had
threw it
that
out there.
one. I only took one last year.
Well, we didn't mention the Eilat Birdwatching Park. I mean, that's where the events happen, and that's our espionage hub in Eilat, and that place is rocking. On a good morning, you'll get 100 species around the bird park, and they've been starting to get. I mean, migrate. First of all, there's banding there, and it's open 24/7. You can come and go as you please. The banding sessions are always super interesting, for the scouting days and so on. And also the habitats around are awesome. And I remember that because they've reported their first 2 little crakes yesterday. And I mean, the little crakes at the bird park is ridiculous. They're like literally as crakes can be, like, 5 feet away at your feet, pecking. Migrants are hungry when they arrive in Eilat. So first priority is like see stuff like crakes or, wrynecks on a public park lawn, just eating in the open, things like that. Birds which are otherwise skittish are hungry and in the open. So the bird park is a must go site on a big day, and regardless. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, agreed. And that it brings to mind another point that I forgot to mention is we will be, for those present in the area, the other teams as well as the attendees of the festival, the Kowa scopers will be doing an ad hoc digiscoping workshop, probably at K19, but look for us to post more on exactly where and when that's going to be. We're trying to work that into our scouting schedule, but we want to show everyone, teach everyone the tricks. If you have questions on digiscoping, we're going to be there, and we're going to give this mini workshop. It'll be very informal, but very informative with all these experts that we have on our team at hand. So look forward to that as well.
I think K20 salt pans is a really good place to do it. I mentioned to Jeff, if you have like a little flag or something, I mean, there's a lot of, well, participants of our events, but regardless, there's a lot of other birders in the field. So if you're strategically positioned there, you know, that could be a really cool option to, you know, get your products out there, you know, to a quite a good crowd. And that's a perfect place to do it, like K20 with the bushes on one side and the salt pans on the other. So
Yeah, no, that's always a phenomenal spot, and I know that's on our route already, as is the bird park. We know those two are solid. As you pointed out, you know, very target rich environment for digiscoping. You know, we literally should be able to add, you know, 30 species or more at K20 in the K19 pond. So a lot to look forward to. At any rate, looks as like we've kind of gotten through all of it.
I'd
Oh
like
my
to just say, Jeff,
Yeah.
one last thing to
Yeah.
all the viewers who are going to watch this, that one of the biggest aspects of this is also getting the word out and spreading the word about the geese and about illegal hunting. So if you could all, you know, look for us on Facebook, all the teams, like, comment, share, and help us get the word out to as many people as possible. Any action you take on our posts is great, and if you want to look for us, just do hashtag COTF23 or hashtag
give geese a chance.
Give geese a chance. That's what I was trying to look for, and you'll find all the posts that are relevant to that, and help us to spread the word and let people know about the red-breasted goose.
Which is insanely adorable. I think I said that already. I've seen them only in a zoo, but man, I look forward to eventually going somewhere where there are, you know, flocks of them in a field in the wild. That'd be spectacular. So
Well, the Kazakh people, you know, Kazakhstan is the place, and our partners from Kazakhstan are going to be there, and they know more about these geese than just about anyone else. So
yeah,
that's a good option to plan ahead. You know, nice fam trip to Kazakhstan or something. So
yeah, the Kowa scoping field trip, we're gonna call it Kowa Caravan. You're going to Kazakhstan, the 3Ks work. Anyway, you can do that. Yes, I hear you. All right, gang. I think probably have done our damage here.
Hey, if you get a chance too, you got to go check out Birder Show training video for the champion. It's amazing. Amazing stuff, man. So funny.
We might not be the best birding team, but we will be the most physically.
The most ready physically.
Well, we've been doing, Women in Step has been doing lots of training too, mostly finger and wrist, so we can write all our thank you notes.
That's going to be our downfall, cramping up when it comes time to doing our lists after all this.
I posted a little bit of my workout today on Facebook, actually, to counter a little bit of that. I want you guys to check that out. It's a reel that I just posted, so you can see I'm serious.
How long do the donation pages stay open for? Because I guess we'll be posting a lot of things after this.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the fundraising keeps going until mid-May or early to mid-May, because the aftershocks are definitely. But the awards are given, you know, at the award ceremony. And when I say awards, you know, we got champions of the Flyway for the team that's seen the most species. And then we got guardians of the Flyway for the team that raised the most money. And we've got knights of the Flyway for the team that has done the most to promote the cause and spread the word and help other teams and so on. So it's not just who sees, you know, the most species.
All right. I think are we there? Anyone have any other thoughts?
See you in a couple of weeks. Safe
Yeah.
travel.
See you soon.
Safe travels.
Forward to it.
See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye. Good talking to you all. Look
Bye.
forward to it.